What's up? It's the Gigabyte Grizzly Brohemian, and this is a messed up time we live in, so I need you all to do me a favor. Wear your mask. Like this, not like this, or like this, or like this, like this. Wear your mask. It's for your safety and mine. Because if I see you without one, I'm gonna pump kick a mask onto your face. Got it?
Parental discretion is advised.
This show is brought to you by IndyWrestling.us and IndyWrestling.network for your independent wrestling entertainment. Slice on Broadway, supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza. Just Pro Wrestling News Podcast. No filler, no pop-ups. Production services by Sidekick Media Services. And listeners like you, supporting us at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the...
It is the Wrestling Mayhem Show. Over 820 episodes of talking professionalized wrestling. I'm Mike Sorg at Sorgatron on the Twitter here in the Sorgatron Media Studios in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Ready to talk. I love. So tonight I got two people with me in the business forever. Somebody's got their mic on or got their phone on. So excited to have. We're going to have a good time tonight. Mad Mike is on assignment. Mad Mike, who coincidentally started a feud with Brandon K on Twitter, and then went to Hawaii. And keeps sending us topless photos. But anyways, that's what he's doing right now. But with us, first of all, he is the grizzled vet himself. Ronnie Stark's on the line with us.
Hello, everyone. Hello, hi. Buenos dias.
What?
other languages I can't speak.
Sure. Okay.
That was a terrible intro by me.
That was I gave you a platform, and that's where we rolled with. Then
This is, this is why I just can't be left out in public anymore.
there you go. That's why you're broadcasting from home.
Yes.
Also with us is manager of champions,
Oh, I hate that
BC
name.
Steele.
There will be no manager of champions.
And unless a
although I am literally a manager of
And
champions.
Katie left her microphone in front of your camera shot for some
Well,
reason.
You know what? I want that
What's
over.
happening there?
I want this to be like a press conference.
Well, yeah, we just stick all of them pointing at you, I guess. There you go.
Well, if that's the case, then I'm probably making an important announcement. But hola, ¿cómo estás? Yo soy Benjamin de Steele. Benjamin C. Steele. Lucha Libre de Managerio y commentator de Cholera, Queso, Biblioteca, and La Ciudad.
Oh, we definitely got to take you across the order of taco here.
That's the Spanish that I learned.
That's the
So there you go.
Big shocker. Benjamin Steve Steele has to, one-up me. Big shocker. The past, 18 years that we've known each other?
Yes.
Big shocker.
Go me.
This is going to be a catch-up session, I can tell right now.
I love
But this is the Wrestling Mayhem Show. You can check out everything at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. You can just help at that email address.
Good times.
Good times at WrestlingMayhemShow.com. 412-206-WMS0 at Mayhem Show on the Twitter. The Wrestling Mayhem Show group, Discord, and Reddit, where we can converse. A lot of great conversations actually happening this week. A lot of great shares happening over there on the Wrestling Mayhem Show Facebook group, actually. And I have Peter Gabriel up in my Google search. What the hell is happening here?
Because you wanna be sledgehammer. That's all we can do, or we're gonna get sued.
Yeah, pretty much. So sorry, YouTube. And where we at? And of course we're live every Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter, on the Sorgatron Media Twitch, and on the IndyWrestling.us YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. However you would like to consume the show. We got most of the chat rooms up here, so we're going to keep an eye out. If you have any conversation, any corrections, anything like that, we'll direct them all at BC Steele.
And I will answer them to the best of my ability. Hopefully this does not turn into Ask BC Anything.
Maybe it could be. I don't know.
I mean, I know things and stuff.
There's not a plan tonight.
If you want useless trivia and facts that you can impress absolutely no one,
there you go.
Ask BC Steele anything at mayhemshow.com.
There you go. I think that'll work actually. So WrestlingMayhemShow.com. You gotta get the full domain.
Wrestling Mayhem.
Also, thank you to our patron supporters at the Fan of the Show level. Patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. Of course, our friends at the Fan of the Show level. Bo Diggity! Woo! As well as Ed Burke and Team Hammerfist, the Poppy Club level, Dave Potter and Bobby F. J. Town. At the Pizza Club level, Doc Remini and The Riz. And at the manager level, Bradley and the Mother of Dragons, Tina Keys. You guys can support the show, too, at patreon.com/Wrestling Mayhem Show. We drop clips, extra stuff before and after the show, sometimes a little too sensitive to put out in public, including some inside info that, or at least, talking about things we can't talk about on the show sometimes. But maybe we'll talk BC into doing some of that here later.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe. He's already telling me stories I probably couldn't put on air.
So this one time, right? This guy... No, never mind.
Anyways, so let's get into it. Well, first of all, Ronnie, you brought up your new favorite thing in wrestling, apparently, or at least your new your next job in wrestling, because there's an application process here. Tell me about it.
What did I say? It was MaximumModels.com.
I got the website right here that you sent me. MaximumMaleModels.com is a real website. There it is. It's a little landing page. It's got Max Dupree, founder director Maximum Male Models up there. And we would talk about this a lot. And of course, last night Matt Carlins was talking about how Mansoor and how do we say Mace now? With our dots in there, miss.
Yeah, put emphasis on that. Miss.
Anyways,
has a little stank on it.
A little bit of stank on it. Yeah, exactly.
I'm doing the shaky leg, and you guys can't see it, but shaky leg.
What?
The stanky leg.
The stanky leg.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. But he declared that is a shot at all of the wrestling writers that have to put all those characters in. And it's going to ruin everything. So, and I think a few other industries are kind of bothered by that as well. But anyways, Ronnie, tell me about this website.
Excuse me, I was muted. I was clearing up my throat there. So you can go on there. You start out when you click the thing. You put your age, and then you agree to the terms.
Sure.
And then you can fill out your model information.
Okay, what is my model information? Are we going to do this live? Hold on a second. Okay.
Let's
upload a
do it.
full body photo. Hold on. We're going to fill in the information here. I'll just
do we have a full body photo of BC?
Oh.
I'm gonna get signed.
There you go. This is going to be it. This is the next. This is the next phase of your career, apparently.
Do we have one of those promo shots that Ryse did the other day, or last couple weeks ago? Hold on, I'm looking this up real quick.
If you go on Facebook or Twitter, BC Steele Yo Girl, cheap plug already, there are photos of me there.
I'm about to.
But I just assume people save them as their background or wallpaper. Not like phone wallpaper, I mean literal wallpaper.
What are you in, like, on MySpace or something? What are you talking about over there?
MySpace.
Do people still do that? I don't know. I haven't changed my background for like 5 phones, so that's new to me.
BC Steele Yo Girl.
I'm trying to find my state.
That would be Pennsylvania.
Yeah, well, there's a giant list here because this is international.
I was going to say, I'm guessing there's at least 50 states, probably several provinces.
Yeah, full body photo. Let's see what we can do. How if I just send a picture of my dog?
Just send the dog.
Listen, we're just gonna send this picture of my dog right here, and then that's your use, and then submit your application. There you go.
Perfection.
We'll see what happens. I'm sure I'm on another WWE mailing list now, right? We'll see if you have what it takes to become a maximum male model.
Oh, the dog definitely does.
I really hope. I'm guessing in the terms of service it says we have the right to use these photos on our television product, and now the dog is going to become an international superstar.
Oh, that'll be great. That'll be great. We'll be looking out for that. So, have you been now? Listen, BC, you've managed the Runway.
I do.
You've managed other beautiful people over the years. You have a interesting wardrobe yourself. I mean, when you see maximum male models, what are the vibes you're getting from this thing?
I didn't know that you could smell money through your television, but I smell money.
Mm-hmm.
I think, honestly, I think that's one of those things where, like when Ezekiel came out and people were like, "Oh, this is dumb," because it was like week 1 and people are overreacting.
I was there live for that one. I was just like, "What the fuck is happening right
Yeah,
now?"
it's like that.
It's literally because it's so jarring.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, it's definitely like especially if you know who. Ronnie, how do you pronounce that again? How do you pronounce that name?
Miss Who.
Yeah. If you know who they were before, you're like, this is vastly different.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
well, then Ezekiel had that because I mean, I don't know if anybody's had that like where I know if I shave my goatee, it's offensive to people. What's going on under here, right? Or
Don't you dare.
I mean, did anybody have a father that like had a beard most of the time and shaved once, and you're like, never again, please? Who are you, stranger, in my house? Like that's the vibe I got when like we had Ezekiel come out without a beard.
So
And
you've seen Ezekiel with a beard though?
well, I mean,
I swear that they actually are brothers.
actual brothers.
I have met his brother before.
Oh yeah.
At IWC back in the day.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's true. Ben can back me on that.
I have.
He's
as
a real
well.
person.
He exists. He is a carbon breathing. Yes, he's a carbon breathing life form. He's not like us. He is a carbon breathing life form.
Okay.
It's true.
Okay.
Take it from us. We've been around for like decades.
Brother.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have.
Yeah, we know how this shit works.
That makes me
alright?
feel old.
Yeah, he's got brothers. He's got sisters. He's got cousins. He's got
And they'll
step cousins,
and they're-
step brothers.
all going to step in, just like Bobby Lashley's extended family that one time.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the possibilities are endless here.
Mm-hmm.
It's just endless.
Jeez. Okay. So maximum male models, that'll be fine. What else is What else is going on out there in the wrestling world right now?
Well, everybody thinks Bray Wyatt's coming back, but we all know it's Edge.
It's like somebody found the toy or something, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like I saw somebody because there's like a weird like WWE superstars like super gimmicked like where he's like wearing a magic top hat or something, and they're
Are
like,
you talking about the Alice in Wonderland toy?
is that what that is?
He's dressed like the Mad Hatter.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, this is brand new. That means he's coming back, right? It's like, no, man, the lead time on those toys are so bad.
Yeah,
You know how many
they made that toy like 3 years ago, but they just released it.
Yeah, you know how many Ember Moons are still on the pegs, and she's been gone for almost a year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's just. I mean, if you're looking for AEW figures, look at the WWE shelves. Really, in the long run, it's kind of funny. Like they've so rapidly let people go. Like the toys can't keep up. The game can't keep up. Right?
I feel bad for game developers
Oh, yeah.
that process of, and I'm sure in the pecking order they're not number one that's getting the notification.
No. They're finding out when the rest of us are probably.
And if they're not, if you have somebody who's not a wrestling fan, it's kind of weird to explain like, hey, you got to take these 5 people out. Why? Well, because they just let them go. But we've been making this game. Why would they? Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Or they just let them go. What is the threshold, right?
Yeah.
Of how because there's a lot of people that were on there that were let go like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
Right when that game came out. So it was really interesting to see because and this always happens. But thankfully, like the big let go is usually after Mania, and then the game comes out in the fall.
Yeah.
It was a different cadence this time. That was very strange. Have we seen it affect DLC? I'm wondering. Because they had that planned out for months, and they had some like NXT people that I'm not sure there anymore. But
I'm thinking, I would assume at one point we will just get to, hey, we've got the body, let's just redo the head.
Yeah, pretty much at this point. Well, and also the community downloads have kind of filled in any gaps there too. I mean, they're doing alternative things and everything, like alternative costumes for people that are more updated or something, or their AEW gear, whatever the case may be, right?
I haven't honestly. I am still playing Fire Pro since I got it and downloading and such. So Any Fire Pro aficionados out there?
It's great.
Yeah. So, otherwise, AEW's got a lot going on. Looks like they're gonna have looks like details on their next AEW pay-per-view will be on tomorrow. They're really kind of building up. I love what AEW's doing. Like, and again, it's summer, so I guess we kind of come through this every summer. But they're doing Fyter Fest again. They did Road Rager. I'm loving. We don't have a pay-per-view technically. I guess we have Ring of Honor in a couple weeks, but we don't have like an AEW pay-per-view till the end of September, and they still feel like a big event every week. Yeah. And that's what I think that's what they've been really good at lately.
They're really good at seemingly, especially now, the summer lull that happens with pro wrestling.
Yes.
Like I know WWE used to do a big angle around end of May to early July, somewhere in there. That's when Nexus was, and I know there's other things that I obviously can't pull off the top of my head, but that's when kind of wrestling takes its little bit lull. Like WrestleMania is over and WWE kind of controls that. I know AEW's around, but I'm just saying in general, because of WrestleMania, after that, interest doesn't peak until maybe August. So it's kind of hard to have that, but AEW always has something going on. So maybe there is a benefit to having so much talent because you can always have something new or something spectacular. I know there's a downfall, but there is a positive spin to it.
I mean, there's something to be said for, like, I still get the emails for the shows, right? Like the Raw, what's coming up tonight on Raw, what's coming up tonight on SmackDown, and half the time I'm looking at it, and like I do watch the pay-per-views, and I'm like, wait, we're doing this match again? Like we have nobody else for them to do anything significant with. Like, it's so strange seeing that versus I just feel like there's always something new happening and a new face and a new interesting thing happen on AEW. And you can say, like, long-term storytelling and stuff, it kind of kills it and fans can't keep up or something like that. But I don't know. I think a lot of fans are,
Yeah, and I think AEW seems a little bit more Crash TV of the 90s, not to that extreme.
A little bit. No.
But I don't hate that because what's always the complaint? Well, we've seen this guy so many times. Sometimes the best thing for a wrestler is to get hurt because he has to go away. Where in AEW, you can move guys in and out. Like, hey, this guy's hurt. Okay, we can have this guy take his place. Hey, this guy needs time off. Okay, we can have this guy take his place.
I feel like generally, if you just say I'm watching Dynamite, I think there's people that you see in ring once a month.
Probably, yeah.
Like I feel like I see a Jade Cargill match, a significant one, once a month, and sometimes she's on Dark, right?
Possibly, yeah.
Like she's popping up. They're doing promos and everything like that. We saw Chris Statler and Athena this past week, but no match, and they're setting up for a match this week. Which, also, unless you're somebody like, Young Bucks have to be there to EVPs, right? Things like that. There's some people that are regularly there doing, darks and everything like that. But, Dark Orders and Best Friends and stuff like that. You got that core group, but it's like, man, like I don't think we're making Athena show up for the week that she just did a promo. I'm guessing we pre-taped that the week before.
Yeah.
And loosen it. Then you're not bringing. Because WCW used to do it, WWE do this. Like, how many times you would always hear about they're bringing all these people in, and then they just sit in catering.
Yeah, that was the WCW thing too. They would fly in like 80 guys and use 40.
Like the roster, I remember looking at the Wikipedia. Like, this was the roster in 1997, let's say, and it was like 150 people.
Yeah.
Right. But also they were doing there were people that were being featured. And you can say this, it's kind of like what happens on Dark now, Like, there's people being featured over on their worldwide program that you never get to see if you just watch Nitro, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's not insignificant people, right? Steven Regal, I don't know, something like that.
Like, he didn't have anything on Monday, but...
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff, like, there's a Twitter that's dedicated just to, like, B and C show WCW stuff.
Yeah.
And you luchadors especially. And
yeah.
You can look this up on Google. It's a Google site where it shows when WCW filed the SEC filings, I think in 99 or 2000, it shows everybody's pay. And some of those on there are like $1,500 per date. So if they show up and they don't work, that's a date. And I can't imagine trying to keep track of all that, but you get like a guy that gets $1,500, and I'm thinking, okay, if he showed up at Nitro and wasn't used, but then they fly him Tuesday to wherever, and that's 2 dates. That's a different story, but
what is it? Oh, so they had a big overarching company that wasn't keeping an eye on those things.
Yeah.
There was a lot of bloat in their budget and everything. Oh boy, is this OSW review with the payroll information for 1999? Is that the kind of stuff we're talking about?
Might be. It shows like royalty. It shows a bunch of
Yeah,
stuff.
like it's got payroll, merchandise, licensing total.
Yeah.
For like Arn Anderson.
Everybody.
Arn Anderson made $26,000 in 1999 out of everything. What the hell? Maybe he wasn't active at the time.
I was going to say some of the numbers. I think they might. It's considered quote unquote creative accounting. There's a book, Fools Rush In by Nina Monk, that is about the AOL Time Warner downfall.
Yes.
And they reference creative accounting, and that is probably that. It pulls off the actual data. There's like a site that has the actual scanned information that went to the
Are you
SEC.
talking about this one here that I'm pulling up? This is the OSW review.
Yeah, they've compiled all of it into a
So I'm
small
looking at
thing.
payroll information 1999. Bill Goldberg, 4.6 million. Let's see, total of 5.1 after merchandise, licensing, everything like that.
I don't know if that's it, because what
No?
I know of, it's a Google site. I just know I remember Google site.
Oh, it just came up like in Google as like one of those information cards.
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
that's
like,
interesting.
it's like a Google.
That is interesting.
And it has like you can click a guy's name, it takes you to that spot and has the,
what?
It's really, if you like the financial side of pro wrestling and you think that was the 90s, what guys were making, it's really impressive. But then you see something and you're like, how was he only making that? Or wow, he got paid this much per dates and he worked this much. Like, oh my god.
I try to stay away from the financial side because for as many years as I've been around, the financials of independent professional wrestling make absolutely no sense to me. And
yeah,
and
that's
sometimes I guess they don't make sense as a promoter too. But like, and I like, don't let me dive into it because I'm afraid I'm going to go down a really dark hole for something like that. But
I mean, sometimes professional wrestling in a whole doesn't make sense to me.
well, yeah, there's that. But you know, like, but I mean, sometimes I sit there and I'm like, okay, this looks like this many people are here. This is how much the tickets were. How much are these guys getting paid? Wait a minute, something doesn't add up here, you know.
Yeah.
And now we're doing these shows, you know. I see this with MMA too. I'm kind of doing a partial of that, but also tickets start at $50.
Yeah.
You know,
And like VIP are like what, 150?
yeah. And
200.
there's sponsors, and there's pay-per-view, and there's all this other stuff. Plus, there's the pay for the purse and everything, right? Plus, there's the commission fees, which I'm sure are much more for MMA, because they're doing a whole lot there in comparison. Well, it depends on what state you're in. But so, because it's interesting. I've seen about 5 different states of commissions, and for everything that anybody gives shit about the PA State Athletic Commission when it comes to wrestling, they are the tightest shows to go through.
Yeah.
Like, you know, for better or for worse, they are like, nobody's fucking around in the crowd taking pictures. Like, the promoter's not out in the crowd taking pictures in between fights, and we're just waiting, you know. So, like, stuff like that happens at some other promotions in other states.
It can get very, very catty. And very bad.
Oh yeah.
So,
Absolutely.
and it's good and bad, because if you had in a utopian society of at least of pro wrestling, if you had the commission, it would weed out the bad. It would weed out the lower level of pro wrestling, and it would accentuate and motivate everybody to get to a higher level.
Half of Detroit, I'm not to put them in that bucket with that, but half of Detroit wrestling would not happen, first of all, because holy shit, Detroit wrestling. Is wonderfully dangerous.
If my buddy that lives outside Detroit is watching this, he's not talking about you. He's talking about everybody.
Yeah,
Probably talking about him too. If he's watching,
I've seen some shit in the last couple months.
We'll talk when the red light goes off.
I filmed some. Oh, I've talked about it on here. It was. There's a lot of light tubes. There's a lot. So. And even the ones without light tubes are wild. So, you know, like Pope and Jason Hotch.
I saw a clip. I saw the super kick. I just saw a clip of that. The other day. Yeah, Pope super kicks Jason Hotch, and that was impressive.
Yeah, I think he took my footage.
Oh, that might have been that. Then. It made me want to watch.
I was like, it's either my footage or it's somebody who's right beside me. Very possible, but still, it was just like, all right, whatever. But yeah, because he's like, I don't even do super kicks or something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah, that was pretty good. Yeah, that was like right in front of me and Dutters. So,
well, there you go.
But it was good, and
it was really good. Yeah.
It was a great match, and there's like one camera up in the balcony. You know what I mean? It's just like, and there's, I go to promotions like that, and just like I'm looking around, I'm like, where's the? And I see this guy like in the corner with a camera, and then like one up here, and I was like, what? What are we doing? Who's gonna watch this? These guys are. There's light tubes. They are killing each other in this thing, and this is going to be the least seen thing.
It's that year, like when I look at tapes. If anybody watching doesn't know what a tape is, I hate you. But when I look at tapes now from 2001, I'm like, this was filmed on a ViewMaster, and this is like the 9th generation copy that went through a dirty old beat up VCR.
Yeah.
So
and thankfully, like the mid to that, our buddy Tony F was doing the DVDs, and at least for as good a quality was in DVD, at least we have that.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, and now that everything's HD, you look at something and you're like, oh, this.
Yeah. It's been
back in our day, we had, little things called
Hey, I got that one. The shredder is splintered. Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, yours is in a lot better shape than mine is.
I just picked this up the other day.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, I got the DVD set now, so I don't have to dust those off anymore. So.
Is it in the?
Hey.
What's this I hear you guys are,
Oh, what the hell?
I hear you got. What's this I hear you guys are trying to replace me? What the hell?
Well, we got BC.
Yeah.
I would like to say,
what the hell?
As mentioned on the Book of Face, this is like having The Rock on the show, but making Stone Cold sit at home. It's just not right.
Oh, Mike, you got palm trees?
I thought I was The Rock. That's why I was coming. Yeah, tropical location, baby.
Actually, wait,
you're
in
what
Hawaii
the hell?
Right now, so.
You're literally broadcasting from Hawaii right now.
Yeah, I realized what time it was. I'm out just chilling, and I'm like, oh, let me pop in for 2 minutes and say hi and say I will never be replaced.
So it's 4:30.
I'm in a rocking chair.
We can tell by you rocking.
Yeah, you're making us a little seasick over here.
It is 3:30 currently. Speaking of seasick, I swam with sharks today.
I saw that. So Shark Boy's out there.
Shark Boy, John Tenta, may he rest in peace. Yeah, pretty much all of them. It was great.
Did he give you
a
look,
the sun's coming out just for you guys.
Aw.
Yeah, there we go. But yeah, I want to say hi.
Nice.
I haven't watched any wrestling. I don't plan on it. But yeah.
Well, you're in paradise, so.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, I happened to flip and saw Dolph Ziggler standing tall on Raw. I'm like, oh, I didn't miss shit.
Had somebody else's problem this week.
Exactly.
So I mean,
I'll let you guys get back to it.
Wait. Have you even looked for? Is there independent wrestling out there or anything like that? Even just the.
Fuck you, Sword.
Well, I was just curious.
I don't know. I'm not looking.
You're not looking.
I'm not looking for independent.
Log into that WrestleMap.com. I'll send you some stuff. We'll look it up. We'll get.
Yeah, Sword. My schedule is very full. I will tell everyone when I come back full time. We have a very full schedule. It's honeymoons are work. They're work. So.
Honeymoons are work.
You still have a whole day ahead of you. It's only 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Exactly. And guess what I'm doing? I'm doing photos later. I'm doing stargazing. It's gonna be great.
So wait,
stargating?
You're telling me that on your honeymoon, that your wife would not want to go to like Hawaii Championship Wrestling?
I'm sure that's a real thing.
Not. Absolutely not. Besides, I don't even know if I'm on the right island for that. There are a lot of different islands. It's not like going from county to county. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard to make the towns out here, brother.
Just hop in the car and paddle. Yes.
Yeah, essentially.
So I went.
All right. Well, let you get back to talking about Raw or AEW not having 2 women's matches or whatever.
Oh, amazingly, I was hoping we get through a show not mentioning that, but okay.
You know I can never let that happen.
No.
Yeah,
boy.
But have a good show, guys.
All right, Mad Mike from Hawaii. Jeez. He's going to do this next week too, isn't he?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. I think we have Paul and Steve on next week. Paul Atlas and Falcom on next week. So
we need to get some lays, and then we'll.
Yeah, be like, hey, we're there too, bro.
We can set up the green screen and literally make it look we're in Hawaii.
Can you make Tropical Paul Atlas a thing?
Tropical Paul Atlas?
Yes.
Well, we
Oof.
freaking
Oh,
better
I'm
try.
tempted. I'm tempted. I just want to tweet Tropical Paul Atlas and tag him and see what happens.
Like just like with the zinc on his nose and like a lei and like a little bucket hat.
I have a box of Lays at home. I don't even know what from. Like, I don't know if it's a Hawaiian party that never happened or something.
Can you put Paul Atlas on a surfboard?
They put them on a surfboard. Like,
I have
like
so many
digitally. We do have a green screen over there.
Oh, no, I mean literally.
like, oh, okay. Where am I gonna find? Where am I gonna find a surfboard in this economy?
That's a good point. If anybody would like to donate their surfboard, reach out to
right.
surfboard at Wrestling
I'm
Mayhem
sorry,
Show.
from landlocked Pittsburgh. It's not a lot of
We
good.
could get him a boogie board. That's easier to
I don't.
get here.
Yeah, I don't think there's a lot of surfing happening on the Allegheny.
There's one at Sandcastle, I'm sure.
On Sandcastle.
Yeah, Sandcastle.
We'll just get him a tube and some floaties.
No,
and he
I've
can
never
just
been to
walk.
Sandcastle.
I almost drowned there. That was
What?
the last time I was there. Yeah.
Oh,
When I was 18, I almost drowned there. It was a good time.
oh,
In the wave pool?
Yeah, the wave came up and hit me in the face, and I went under, and the lifeguard was too busy trying to get laid, and he couldn't be bothered to save me. Some guy grabbed me, and he's like, "Are you okay?" And I was like, so clearly I was okay. I'm here.
I almost drowned in a pool in Myrtle Beach the year after first grade. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You just brought that out. Thanks. I forgot all about that.
This is now the suppressed memory show. Of,
Okay. Okay. Are there any other PTSD we want to dig up while we're at it?
I got stung by a bee last week.
Are you allergic to bees?
No.
Then who cares?
That's all I am. I don't have anything else.
When I was 6 or 7, I got left home alone. And these two guys came and they were going to rob our house.
Now wait a minute.
We had a ridiculously large house that I don't really understand
Did
how
you go to
my
New York
father
the next
paid
year
for it.
and meet Donald Trump?
No, I met the pigeon lady. That's all I really
Okay.
remember.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
She was
This
really
report.
nice.
Okay.
See, if Mad Mike were here, I was going to make it a Mighty Ducks reference, but I'll have to go with my other favorite movie.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, if you're looking for something to watch to keep shoving down those deep, dark memories, please go over to IndyWrestling.us.
That was a segue.
We have a lot going on there, including, and you can explore other mental issues, because I believe at this point, I know it's on VOD. It should be ready on the network as well and on YouTube. But the Ryse Rumble from this weekend is on there, featuring one Delirious, who I think has not been in Pittsburgh for about a decade, at least in a wrestling ring. It's good to be able to film Delirious again. I mean, hey, he was one of my favorites when I first started getting a camera at ringside here back in the, whenever the hell that was, whatever decade that was. Oh boy,
The aughts.
oh boy, it was the aughts. It was the late aughts, that's for sure. So wait, what year did you start?
01.
Oh,
The early
01.
aughts.
You're in 01. You're in early aughts. I'm
Yeah.
a late comer to the scene for some reason, which always bothers me because I've been here since 2000.
Really?
And I'm like, why did I not discover independent wrestling in the area?
Wow, I discovered
just-
when I was a fresh-faced 14-year-old boy.
Right? Like, well, I was busy.
Hey, look, some of us
I
did
guess I was
stuff
busy. I
in-
guess I
in
was
their teen
busy.
years.
But anyways, also I didn't know where weird towns like Monroeville were. I was afraid to leave the South Hills at that point. 'Cause
Weird
I
towns.
Yes, it was not. Listen, like when you first move to a city and you're like don't realize there's like a grocery store a mile away, so you're still driving like 5 miles away to the place
Yeah, that's
like
fair.
that kind of thing. Like that's kind of where we were. So anyways, IndyWrestling.us, you don't have to go anywhere to enjoy all the great professional wrestling across several states right there. Ryse Rumble is up, the VCW Father's Day Throwdown, including the death of Zeke Mercer. I know he just got almost mortally injured. Let me be clear about that. So a lot of great stuff there. And of course, you can also check out our Spotlight Slam show that has debuted. And we're on the 3rd episode coming up this week, featuring, amongst other matches, Jason Gorey and Damian Chambers from the last VCW show. A really good match and a surprise match, actually a replacement with Jason Gorey rolling in. So go check that out at IndyWrestling.us. And of course, check out on the YouTube, the Facebook, and GrindCity.biz for the Spotlight Slams on Wednesday night at 10 and 11 p.m. respectively. And see what you're missing and see what's coming up as well, because we're going to a lot of information on that show about what shows are coming up in the greater Pittsburgh area and West Virginia. All of our partners as a part of that too. So go check it out. Check out Free Wrestling, and if you want even more, if you want to support independent professional wrestling and the production of independent professional wrestling, so we can keep doing this and show you the stars before you see them on AEW Dark at least, go over to IndyWrestling.us. Speaking of that Ryse Rumble, BC, you're in the middle of some gold and a hard place right now, it seems.
Well, the former
and the
being
hard
the better part.
Yeah, well, the hard place being the Warhorse, and so
Yeah, that
didn't work out too well.
You know, I should have known it was going to go bad when Chris LaRusso wouldn't let me produce the Ryse Rumble, the song Ryse Rumble.
I did see this promo.
Yeah, it was
The Wrestle Rock thing.
I had lines for everybody.
Oh no!
And
this should have happened. If you needed help, you should have booked Mad Mike to assist you.
We
could have gone rogue on this thing and become a partial Mayhem show production.
You can still go rogue on it.
I mean,
we can add it to the show after.
Not everybody's watched it yet, so there's an opportunity.
There is time. Is 39 too old to start my rap career?
No.
Some people start their wrestling career at that age.
That's true. I'm definitely not going to be starting that. That is off the table.
No. I'm not even interested in trying to bump at this point. Not on purpose, at least. Knowing how to bump has saved my life.
I think it was a Taz line he said in like the first Tough Enough. He goes, "If you fall in a grocery store, this will save your life," or something along those lines.
I fell downstairs.
I did too, but not gracefully. It looked like God had me in a Boston crab.
There was a very short landing at the end, and I found the ground and flattened out.
Man,
I could have been going to the hospital real bad. So
when I fell, I did go to the hospital, and it was great. It was awesome.
Anyways, as I said, manager of the champions. I think this is like it was some kind of grand slam or something that you've had like champions in about every promotion in the area.
Yeah, unless it's like a one-off, I've managed a champion now every single promotion I've worked for.
Yeah.
So that is I don't know if that gets my face on a Mount Rushmore, but that's a thing. So yeah, but Ryse was the place where I was kind of slipping up, and I felt like having Tyler Klein and Calvin Couture, I had the best opportunity. And that is, I am legitimately a huge fan of them. Calvin Couture was handpicked by RPW and myself, and when Tyler Klein, I keep wanting to say Calvin Klein. Like, in my head, it's like, yeah, Calvin Klein, because, they're models. But I wanted Tyler Klein. I'm like, this just fits. This is, I've told them before, I wish I was younger. Because I feel like if I were younger and I could do more and wasn't old and falling apart, but they made it happen. Full credit to those guys. I don't think Warhorse is really my clients anymore after the whole.
Yeah.
Didn't go well.
There was a 4-way. You managed both of them to the ring.
That's true.
And then it got a little weird.
There were some shenanigans.
But
it wasn't until now we're seeing my pasty white legs. I just saw myself on the camera. But check the white balance. Make it look like I'm tan. But by the time the Ryse Rumble happened and Warhorse had eliminated Tyler and Calvin, I think that partnership might have a few cracks in it. I'm going to work on it, but
that's a pretty big pair of problems to have too. Yeah, so
I try to keep people on my good side, or at least avoid them at all costs. So may have to go to the drawing board. But I'm a believer that there's nothing money can't fix. Hello, person who just walked by the window and stared at me.
Yes, we do have the window open tonight. I'm sure it'll work out. I'm sure everything will work out just fine.
As it always does in pro wrestling.
Yeah, especially for BC Steele.
Yes. If there's one thing that my career has proven is it always works out A-okay.
Exactly. You've had, God, that's 20, well, that's over 20 years, 21 years, I guess. Your career is old enough to drink.
Yep, 21 years in 16 days.
In 16 days.
Yep.
That's crazy, dude.
July 28th, Elizabeth Fire Hall. I know the date. I can tell you the first match. I can tell you every.
I'm interested.
It was Matt Vandal against Mike Preston. His name was Protege at the time. 2 minutes into the match, the guy threw a chop. It hit me in the head, and I lost my contact lens.
What?
And I had headaches for the longest time because I think it went up into my head, like went up into my head.
Oh,
and that's
no.
not, I'm not setting up a pun or anything like that. I was so nervous, my eyes would flutter like a tick after it happened. Also
Jeez.
didn't help that I was nervous. And that's how my career started. So I'm like, man,
And
there's
that
nowhere
was
to
when
go.
you were roughing too, right?
Yeah, that's when I was Mark Steele.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, no twin brother. That I'm confessing on this show that Mark Steele was me. Complete with
With
bad
long
haircut,
Oh, jeez.
bad posture.
And I think you were there when I first started watching IWC in like 2006.
I did. No, I left IWC in 02. I
That's
did
right.
two the 100th and 101st show.
Okay.
So I did
Okay.
those two.
Yep. I was around for those.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so I did those two, and
As I often say, my first time like knowingly knowing you, or seeing you or in action or
Yeah.
whatever was a PWX show where I think they had let the fans like leg drop you or something.
oh yeah, that
Yeah.
was impromptu, and that was fun. I had a great time doing
Yeah,
that.
I'm sure you looked like you were, and the leopard skin get up and everything, and
It was only bad when a child went to pin me, and credit to him, he was a veteran. He knew to hook the leg, but he did not grab the leg.
no, he grabbed the wrong leg.
Yeah,
Oh,
he grabbed,
no.
and I said at that point, I'm going to punch a child.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't punch a child, but I wanted to punch a child, and
Ugh,
and to make me
I
feel
stole that
old,
from you.
that kid is like probably, I don't know, 25 now. Whatever do the math.
Do the math.
Yeah.
We should
You can
find the
legally
kid.
punch him in the face now.
Oh
That's
shoot,
right.
that's a good point.
Yeah, we need to find this kid. See if he's still into wrestling. So if he remembers that, and I think that's the interview.
And wow, and
Yeah.
that was your first time seeing me. So you had to see me wrestle the first time you saw
Yeah,
me.
yeah.
Well,
What the hell was the match?
it was Quinn.
Not that anybody
just-
can see it these days. But
It's on YouTube. I slapped
Is it
Quinn.
on YouTube?
Yep. I slapped Quinn. He clotheslined me. My soul left my body and then came back later that evening. Yeah. And I still
didn't
didn't get a rematch either.
wait,
so.
was he wrestling? Was Quinn like wrestling at the time?
No, there was a thing where there was a member of the championship committee that
Okay.
I would face, and if I
Okay.
won, I got on. And
So I didn't even realize that I had seen Quinn Magnum in action.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
because I didn't know anybody then. So
and he's ducking me too, for the record. I've challenged him.
oh, yeah?
I've wanted a rematch numerous times, but just saying.
I mean, anything. Never say never.
Nah, we're
saying never.
We're saying never.
We're never
yeah,
saying never.
yeah.
I don't know. He's not tied to anything. I don't know. Actually, I haven't talked to him for a while. So, but next time I do, I'll bring
Oh.
this up.
Sweet Jesus.
Listen, when we run our Mayhem Mania, the wrestling show, we'll book you.
Awesome.
Then
I'm
make
down.
that. We'll make that dream match happen.
I can do those matches.
We'll throw all the podcast monies at it.
Awesome. Well, I mean, if
That
we're
should
going to
be-
do dream matches, I have a list of
Maybe that's a
opponents.
level we should do on Patreon. Is like if we get to this part, like this point in Patreon, we will run a wrestling show. This is where I do need to talk about the financials of an indie wrestling show. We're like, listen, it's not my money. Doesn't matter if we lose it. We made the goal. The fans want to see it.
You had me at, it's not my money, I don't care if it is.
But
I will gladly sponsor that match between BC.
there you go.
and-
There you go. We'll sponsor a show.
Yeah.
God, the more I keep talking about this, the closer it is to happening.
Well, look, if you want to make money, you run wrestling shows.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, you run an MMA show is what I've
Well,
learned.
that's
It's just like you put aside your love for wrestling and run an MMA show, and apparently there's money there. Anyways, there's some stuff happening in the chat room. Tyler Klein's in the chat room. He was upset that we weren't talking about them yet in the first segment, of course. But we got around to it.
Well, you did tell me beforehand this is not the Calvin Couture, Tyler Klein celebration, so I had to bring it down.
No, well, we had them on a few weeks ago.
True.
And that was the celebration.
Well, yeah,
of sorts.
but there should be a celebration every week.
Okay. Well, I mean, really, doesn't their Twitter just celebrate that every day?
That's a fair point.
I mean,
That's a fair
it's
point.
already there in all of our follows and our hearts.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's what Twitter's for. Yeah. Oh boy. I'm sorry. I'm catching up with the chat room here. We need a weekly Jericho segment. No, that's not. No. That's our conversation from before.
Where's the Ask BC Steele anything? If you
yeah,
would like to know about,
if there are any questions in the chat room.
I mean, from politics to religion to
no.
anything.
What?
What's wrong with those?
Wait,
None of those
remember?
things.
Wait,
None
we
of
did
those.
try a political show with you one time.
Yes, we did.
Yes.
We did 2 episodes, and I had an idea for the third. I'm like, oh, this is going to be bad. This is no, I can't say that. Well, I'll do. Nope. I was like, okay, 2 episodes didn't really go one way or the other. Didn't insult. This is good.
Yeah.
That's 2 more episodes than any political show on TV could go.
We
so.
tried it. I didn't. Yeah, seriously. Can you imagine if we tried that concept today?
Oh,
And the whole
God.
idea was to. Didn't we call it Political Mayhem
Yeah,
Show or
it was
something?
PMS.
And
No, like that was the.
yeah, that was it. And it was you and Bert Legrand, and
Yeah.
I think you were talking about politics in the vein of like through the lens of wrestling,
Yeah.
like talking.
I mean, it's the same. One and the same.
Yeah, it's a great concept, and it's in the feed. It's in the Sorgatron Media Wrestling Mayhem Show, like super feed, master feeds. If you want to go look for it, like it's there. So, but man, I don't even know. I just there wasn't motivation for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and especially as we get further and further, I don't know if I could do it without going off on a tangent.
It was a whole different era.
Yeah,
Let's say.
because as you know, I tend to go off on tangents and yeah, that
You-
person just that walked by. I wish you guys could see the outside because I put my hand like this and the person like looked over as if I had some magical power just to shoot out.
We used to be connected with that camera out there, and I'm curious if we still are, because it's been fun. So let's say you've been everywhere. You've been 20 years into this. You know, what have you usually do? What have you learned from wrestling? What have you learned from your career?
What have I learned from my career? I actually, when I had a podcast way back in the day,
Oh, I remember that.
I mentioned something about how pro wrestling changed my life.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that I tell people. If they stick with it long enough, one way or another, it'll change your life.
I can relate to that.
It will, like, I've met people from every walk of life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the most well-rounded individual in the world. I'm sure there's somebody who's traveled and, met all kinds of different people, but I've met people from every political background, every race, color, creed, sexual orientation. It also helps me because I'm 39, so I'm not really up to date on stuff. But when you're working with younger talent, you're working with talent that is working with other younger talent, and they have their experiences. It kind of keeps me young in a way, not body, but mind. And I tend to learn more about myself. Like everything good, bad, or indifferent that I have in life that I value has come through professional wrestling.
It's interesting because at least in the Pittsburgh area, I feel like there haven't been a lot of managers, like at least like longevity managers.
It's usually a couple years.
Yeah,
And they find something else like their personal life, like their relationship or their job or their career or what have you. And there were times where that probably should have been my focus.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's relationships and friendships that would say, we kind of wrestling took most of his time, but I mean, I can't change that. It is what it is. But it's usually like a few years, and then they're attached to a wrestler, and that wrestler quits or moves on, and then they move on with him.
Yeah,
So
I feel like I remember 10 years ago watching a lot of promotions. It always felt like the person that comes out was just like that person's buddy. And not like managers per se. They didn't seem to be like trained managers. They were just like a body that was out there to yell at people.
Yeah, sometimes it's the fifth ring post.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah,
and that
perfect.
I will admit, talk about growing as a person, that used to drive me absolutely insane because I'm thinking I take this seriously, and I had to twirl for years. That's just asinine to say that, but. I worked at it and this, that, and the other, and they just come right in the door. Now I'm like, I don't care how you came in. I really don't. I don't care if you just saw this on TV and went, that'll be fun, and they have an in. Like, as long as you take it seriously when you get in, great. I don't care if you paid dues for ever or if you just walked in the back door and they're like, okay, you're good. It's like, what do you do when you get here?
And to be receptive to
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah.
Like, kind of, I don't know how to. Like there's people, like, we're very careful about who we put on video,
Yeah.
right? 'Cause, like, I'm like, do you know wrestling? Do you know what you're getting into? Like, do you know not to stand in the wrong place? And I mean, I screwed up. I almost walked right into a guy trying to hop up on the ring a couple last month, right? It still happens, but still, like versus completely being in the wrong place for wrestling and like don't stand there, somebody's gonna come at you, you know, kind of stuff, right? Like I feel like, you know, we've seen you know, I've seen ring announcers come in and just be over their head or not move for bulk nasty.
Yeah, that's not a good thing. That's
I thought I was gonna watch a man die that day.
Yeah.
And, you know, like be receptive, but also like I don't know. There's something. There's some skill level or presence of mind that's required that not everybody possesses.
Yeah, and
to be around this.
With referees, ring announcers, and managers, it's unique, at least in my opinion, because if people think what you do is easy, perfect, great. You should think it's easy as 1, 2, 3. I had somebody once who was a manager, and they, you know, I kind of gave them the whole thing, and when I started going through it, they finally said, "There's a lot to this, huh?" And I went, "Yeah, yes, there is. It's not just."
Oh, there definitely is.
It's not just standing there and looking pretty. I mean, don't get me wrong, Ronnie, as he can attest, we're very good at looking pretty.
We are,
but
especially Ronnie.
Oh, I know.
Oh, shut up, guys.
I wish I had that beard that he has, but I have 17 hairs on my chin.
I am jealous of a full beard. If I could grow a full beard, you know I'd be doing that, right? Like,
you know, I want to put Ben over for a second.
Please do.
Yeah,
I love this show.
I don't do this often because I met you in 2003 at PWX.
I was so young.
This is when you guys were at the old building where it would snow. Snow would come through the roof, and that building. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Remind me to tell you the worst story of that building afterwards. Sorry, I just want to put that on there.
And this was when Chris Taylor was a $110.
Yes.
Like super skinny Chris Taylor.
I was looking for a DVD that we're talking about on Twitter the other day for RWC, and I found an RWA one with like young Chris Taylor, and I'm like, what even is this fucking picture of like long hair goth skinny ass Chris Taylor?
He was a young skinny hairless boy.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Anyways, go ahead.
Like PG-13 or something like that.
Wasn't that a group? I thought that was a group.
No, there was. This I remember, but important stuff I don't know. He was in the tag team NC-17 and also X-rated.
Which one was with the other kid with the long hair? I can't remember.
Well, he teamed one with Justin Idol. I don't remember which one, and then there was one with the late Lance Dayton, and that was the other. Him and Lance Dayton teamed together. I could just give everybody who's been around more than 15 years their entire history. I'll just do the anthology.
I remember Lance Dayton. I didn't know he died.
Yeah, he passed away a few years ago, actually.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, that's crazy. But anyway, back to putting you over.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah, I definitely stole a couple things from you.
Thank you.
While I was managing, because I'm like, well, Ben's the fucking best in Pittsburgh. Best, probably in the tri-state area. Honestly, I'm fucking blushing over there. But no, man, there is nobody better than you.
Thank you.
Like that's just a well-known fact with everybody. Like everybody respects you, everybody loves you. Everything you've done for wrestling, nobody's done it better.
Well, thank you.
I dare anybody to say it differently.
Well, if they say it differently, they're wrong. That's the first problem.
Yeah.
So, or they're in denial.
I have told you several times, you know, I am no BC Steele. But I tried to be. I tried to steal your shtick once or twice.
Well,
and what happened? You put me in a fucking locker for 7 years.
Which is on YouTube, by the way.
Mm-hmm. It is on YouTube.
But to be fair, there's a good chance that I stole it from somebody. Like when I went, managers like Notorious Norm, Damian Stockholm, Drew Lazario. There were girls, Katarina Heiss, Jasmine Victoria. I could probably name every single one. Gentleman Joe Perry. There were so many that I was like, oh, there's something. And then when I started watching tapes and say, oh, okay, there's a little thing. And I started taking stuff from, if anybody knows this character, I just revealed this recently to somebody, and they knew who it was. If anybody remembers in Living Color, Jim Carrey had a character, the effeminate environmentalist. And that is where I stole a lot of my mannerisms from. So if anybody sees that, I've now just given it away. So there you go. So I stole it from Jim Carrey. So yeah, Ronnie Starks, you are 1 degree away from Jim Carrey, technically.
Holy shit.
There you go.
It's all coming full circle now.
Is that full circle?
I thought I was like a Seth Rogen kind of guy, but hey, if I'm more like Jim Carrey, then I'll take it.
Well, I think maybe looks like Seth Rogen. I would probably I used to get the Shermanator from American Pie.
You were the fucking shit from American Pie.
And when I was little, I kind of looked like Macaulay Culkin, except not cute, not adorable, no talent, and I wasn't in any movies. I did try out for 2, but I didn't get the parts. I'm still upset. But
I mean, we can't all be extras in a Kennywood commercial.
What? What?
Oh, I was an extra in a Kennywood commercial when I was a kid.
whoa. How do
Wait,
I
you
not know
never
this?
told me about this.
Oh yeah. Okay, so I can't remember what year it was, but they did this whole commercial. There was a clown, and there were a bunch of kids lined up, and we like danced, and like the clown like went around on like one of those one-wheel tricycles and was like fucking juggling and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the Kennywood commercial.
Oh wow.
Now, how bad did you want to trip him and then start laying the boots to him?
Well, you know I'm a bit of a shit, so probably as soon as the commercial started, I was like,
That's
somebody
fair.
needs to beat up this damn clown.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah. Hey, by the way, I think I found something here.
That
I
would be
think
it.
there's something happening. I think, here comes Ronnie Starks. Here comes a young, spry Ronnie Starks.
And look at who throws him in.
And let's see who we got. I don't know. Wait, was that? Whoa. Oh, wait, was that Shane Taylor?
That is Shane Taylor.
Shane Taylor shoved you in a locker?
Mm-hmm.
Where you resided for 7 years.
We try not to laugh at all during this segment.
Is that Chris LaRusso?
Yes, it is.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Evil beard Chris LaRusso.
Mhm.
How about that?
Chris LaRusso was trying not to laugh.
Yeah. Yeah, you could kind of tell at the beginning there. And you're just there for this is like this is a 3-minute segment.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, then there's another one. I want to find it, but it was the 7 year later one where I had my ocean.
Yeah, I think. Well, yeah, we'll have to find that because I think I'm probably the one that posted it because when we were working over there.
As a man that
But-
appreciates a good callback in comedy or movies, that made me so happy that we could have a callback from 7 years prior.
I always, I'm always have that question in my head when we do these kinds of things because I'm like, we think this is hilarious and we remember, but do the fans remember? Like, you know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
like, are the fans been around for this long? Are they seeing this? Are they seeing these little breadcrumbs that you guys are putting out there? That we're doing something interesting like that. And I never know because it just feels so, especially when you think back in the day
Yeah.
when everything was DVD or
Yeah.
VHS, right? Like, well, who's seeing these promos at that
Yeah.
point?
I always, whenever somebody says, "Hey, I remember," and I can tell that it's a fond memory, not like, "Hey, I remember that time your pants were down," and I'm like, "Oh, yeah, that wasn't very good." Although if that's somebody's fond memory, that might be a little odd, but.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, when somebody like brings something up and it's like a fondness, I'm like, okay, I think that worked. I'm pretty sure that was good. I like when somebody brings something up and I don't remember it, and I have to like jog my memory.
I always that's always the coolest thing when I think about we talk a lot about the RWA audience and Ryse as well because there's the mainstays that have been watching Ryse for the last around 5 years now.
Yeah.
And growing, and it's great to see everything. And by the way, I gotta say, like seeing Ryse have grown into that new venue, and I think LaRusso said that there was maybe a new record for them for the new venue.
I think the last 3 shows or 4 shows
were
have been
increasing.
records.
Yeah. I mean, it's a giant Burlington Coat factory.
Yeah.
They got room to expand.
Yeah, I mean,
so and I would love to see. And I haven't seen this in person, so I don't know. I can only see on video how big this place is, and it looks massive.
It is huge.
And I can't. I'm hoping I can get the opportunity in the next couple of months to come down. Yeah, that is really cool. But then I think of that in RWA and look at RWA we talked about that crowd and how they just come unglued. We were talking about it a lot last night, and I was just like, this is the most important thing to 300 people.
Yeah, and the acoustics are amazing.
And that's but 300 people have followed this and know all of this and and you're like, oh, just 300 people. But but that's an audience, that's an important audience that comes back every month and pays a ticket and is involved, and that attachment is just incredible when you capture that lightning like that. Even if it is quote unquote just 300 people, or the people that are buying VODs, DVDs, that's not a whole lot of people on top of that. It's really incredible.
And I think that's a credit to not only the guys and girls that work there, but the promoter himself, Dr. Feelbad, who I've said this. I don't know if I've said this publicly. I think I've said it to him. To me, and this is not against any other promoter I work for or any promoter that I have, but he might be the closest thing I've seen to Norm.
Yep.
In terms of fan promoter interaction.
Absolutely.
Because Norm could tell you, and I used to be that fan that was 15, and I was like, wow, he knows everything. I got to go to the next show. Like, I have to be there because he created this environment, and I think Feel Bad's the closest thing I've seen.
He is, he's hands-on, and because that's one of the things I noticed when I first went to IWC was Norm was shaking everybody's hand going out the door. Now, Derek will do it too, to the detrimental of, we want to fucking get out of here. Let us out the door. I know you got to kiss and hug everybody, kind of thing. So, positive things, but it works. You know what I mean? There's a connection there, and that's important, for whatever you think of it, call it a cult, and damn it. Good wrestling is a fucking cult.
I was just going to say.
Defy is a fucking cult up there, okay? ECW is a fucking cult. GCW is a fucking cult, watching that shit and going to every show and buying into it, right? Especially on this level, because what the fuck is a cult? It's the thing that you're passionate about and quote-unquote religious about that nobody else understands.
And nobody can tell you otherwise.
Yes. Yeah,
that is
exactly.
Huge...
Exactly. When we handed a DVD to somebody at RWA of Super Indie and they said, this is boring, we're like, what the fuck world are we living in? So
the example that I always give of well, any business owner should know their audience, know their crowd. That's the first rule. But this was 2004 or 5. Juventud Guerrera and Psychosis came into PWX against the SATs. That obviously.
Wait, who's the SATs?
Oh, sorry. I just
From
dated
Impact.
Yeah. Joel Maximo and somebody in the chat might know. They were like 2000. Amazing Red?
Yes.
I think they're brothers. I think.
Okay.
Or cousins. But they were like in the early 2000s. They were the thing. It was Backseat Boys against SATs in Philly and New Jersey and etc. And kind of those three, Amazing Red and the SATs, were making a loop. Anyway. So, Juventud Guerrera and Psychosis, managed by yours truly, never miss a chance to put yourself over. Where I had like 103-degree fever. It was actually 99, but round up for wrestling. So, but I was legitimately sick. Anyway, they came in, and there were two sets of fans: the normal PWX fans that wanted what they got every show and knew what they wanted, and then there were people that heard, "Hey, they're there," and came in for that. And when they're doing these spots and doing this match and blah 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 blah, it was very very specific. The fans that were there just for those guys were there for those guys. The other fans were like, why are they not playing to us? Why are they not? And the only guy that really, really played to the fans in that matchup was Evan Courageous, who was managing the SATs. And I know this sounds like I'm making stuff up, but I'm not. Evan Courageous from WCW was there for something. And he played to the people, and they were like into him because he was managing the one team. But like that was
because he was general wrestling school of thought.
Yes, this is our crowd.
Is what you do.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I always said it was like an old school crowd, and many places in West Virginia are the same. That's why guys like Honky Tonk Man. I don't know if this is a name drop, and I sound like a douche when I do it, but I'm going to do it anyway. Honky Tonk Man told me and Bobby Williams, I believe that's the official. I know Miss Potter. He's my BFF, but. Told us once, I can make a killing in these types of towns with 50 people than I can at a Ring of Honor show with 2,000. And I don't think he ever worked Ring of Honor, but that's the general idea.
All right.
I'm sure we all remember Honky Tonk Man against Samoa Joe for the ROH Championship.
Exactly. Well, when I saw that, I've talked on here before about the not Nashville, but the Tennessee shows I was at, where it was like 2 matches. The second match had Jerry Lawler. There was an intermission so he could sign autographs and get the fuck out. 2 matches, and I think maybe Ricky Morton wrestled. Then he got out and signed autographs and get the fuck out. And then there was a main event. Yeah. And this happened that was the first show, and the second show was like that. Had some more indie talent. Like, I don't know if you remember, the Carnies were up here a few years ago for IWC. Like they were, I think that was their promotion, to be honest. But there was the main event was like them versus like Billy Gunn and James Storm, who were like I don't know, ass money for the night or something like that.
I was gonna say,
I don't know. They had some fun thing. They came out the Thunderstruck, which I appreciate.
Way better than Storm Gun that I was thinking.
Maybe Storm Gun, yeah, something like that.
By the way, Thunderstorm, Thunder Rosa, and Tony Storm is the greatest.
Yes,
I am a huge Thunder Rosa is probably in my top 5 right now. So anything she does is
She's
just right.
amazing, and I've talked about here. She's like an awesome backstage too.
I
Mama Rosa, like that. She is to the women's division what Mick Foley is, because it's Uncle Mick when he walks in, and she is just like pure cool vibe when she walks in.
I honestly think, and I thought this about Bailey when she was a babyface. I think Thunder Rosa is your five-tool, put her on Late Night with Jimmy Fallon, represents the brand. That's what I think, because every single box, they watch her in the ring, wow, she's good.
Yeah.
She speaks English and Spanish, so that's a market.
She did commentary for us one time, too. And I talked to her afterwards, and she said, yeah, I've been doing commentary for Dark for the Spanish side. I'm like, that's fantastic. I had no idea.
Like, to me,
why the fuck would I know?
Yeah. I mean, you're not. Wait, this is the Wrestling Mayhem show. You're supposed to know everything.
Oh yeah,
but
I need to learn Spanish. I really should.
It absolutely. I mean, it helps.
I just need to ask one of my neighbors to help teach me.
Well, look, I taught you Spanish earlier. I said
I
all
know,
those words,
I know.
And I bought Spanish earlier.
So you got both sides of it. El Starks de Ronnie, and I won't go into a Spain story, but I went to Spain. If you're around it enough, you can survive. Like, you'll pick up certain things and phrases.
Yeah. I mean,
so
you've
just,
heard enough
just
of
go
it.
to Spain and
listen.
Spend some
I've been
time
to a Lucha Underground show.
There you go. There you go. But yeah, like,
or the one across the street where I had no idea. I had no idea what anybody was chanting. But that's fun. I love that.
Yeah, but you get that's another thing about pro wrestling. Even if it's not in English, you get it.
Yes.
And I think that translates too.
Absolutely.
And it helps if the person speaks, but if Tony Khan, my good personal friend that I used to talk to on AOL back in the day, who, if he sees this, if he remember, I'm sure he doesn't remember, but if it were me, like, Thunder Rosa is gonna, which he is, that would be my main focus. Britt Baker, not only because she's hometown and I'm a homer, but she's got that unique character, and let's face it, it is a cosmetic business.
Yes.
John Cena and The Rock are really, really good-looking guys. That doesn't hurt. I mean, you've got beautiful people, good in the ring, character, charisma, unique look, like, just all these things. Like, put that on Jimmy Fallon and say, yeah, that's our brand. Boy, this is turned into a positive BC Steele. I like
this. I like this. You are. You're getting so mellow in your old age.
See, here's an example, real quick, I'll put, of learning. I used to think women's wrestling was what I saw in the late 90s, which wasn't always the best. And Jesse, who many people will know, in the early 2000s goes, yeah, you're wrong. You need to watch this. You need to watch Sarah Del Rey. You need to watch all this. And somebody who I was a fan of, who I didn't know was the same person, was Davina Rose, who later became Bailey.
Oh.
Yeah, I think it was Davina Rose. But I remember Rose was the thing, and I was a fan of hers. And then later I saw her and didn't put two and two together because, concussions. But yeah, there you go. This is a positive. You know what? It's good to get older. I'm calmer. I'm nicer.
You got a nice car?
I do. I mean, got a nice life. I smell good.
That's good.
I mean, can you smell me from here? I'm actually wearing the new Chase Gold line.
I lost most of my smell when COVID, so last year. So it has to be. Thankfully, it was mostly bad smell. So I don't know.
Well, then you need the Chase Gold cologne line. That's what I'm wearing right now. If anybody's interested.
Okay.
Actually, it's Chase Gold.
Well, I can't smell it, so.
Well.
Chase Gold.
See, I find ways to put everybody over on this show.
I think you put half of Pittsburgh over on this show.
I love you, Ronnie. There you go.
There you go.
And I love you too, buddy.
Even Ronnie.
And that says a lot, man. Fuck.
Jeez. Anyways, let's take a quick break here, and I don't know if you got a chance to partake. I know you were chatting up with Dutters here between the shows, but we do have some catering, if you will, from our. Hold on. There, the show's back. I hit the wrong button. There it is.
What the heck just happened?
I queued it as a shot instead of an overlay, so everything went away, Ronnie, for you. But it was just fine for everybody else on the podcast.
I panicked. I was like, what happened?
I know. It's okay. Rub some pepperoni on it. New York City style yins are made. Slice on Broadway, Beachview, Carnegie, East End, North Hills, and I understand they have a pop-up, I think, still down at the South Side Works. Of course, the supporting Pittsburgh podcasting with the perfect pepperoni pizza, but they got so much more hoagie salads. And for our gluten friends, gluten sensitive friends in the studio, our gluten friends, our friends made of gluten, apparently. But thank you so much to them for supporting the show and feeding our guests and myself, because otherwise I'd forget to eat dinner on podcast night. So thank you so much for them supporting the show for so long. It's cool to see them grow as we're growing as well over the years. So we're going to take a quick, probably 90-second break, and I feel like I'm pitching the picture, but that's not what's happening. We'll be right back after this.
Savon's Legendary Podcast.
Watch out on the TV network on Roku.
Grind City. And you know this, man.
You know what I'm saying? It's like right place, right time, out of nowhere.
So what you saying?
Former tag team partner coming to save.
Tony Johnson, we saw him battle Edric earlier, but this is a 2-on-1 mugging.
We are back, Wrestling Mayhem show, and we have yanked Ronnie out of the commercial purgatory because of our sound setup here. Ronnie's still with us.
He's actually in his locker right now.
Yeah,
Not a lot of people know
live
that.
from the locker. 10 years later, it's Ronnie Starks, the locker gnome Ronnie Starks.
This damn locker, man.
Yeah, that's right.
It's rather spacious.
I was just
It is kind of spacious.
That's the word I was thinking. See, managers know words. Thesaurus.
That's right. By the way, I want to call attention to a video that I saw was just posted a few hours ago over at VCW. I highly recommend. Well, not if you're sensitive to possum side, but there's it's got an adorable ending. I will tell you that. So go to Victory Champ Bitch Wrestling's Facebook page and check out the Where Were You When Possum Side 2022 happened is the quote. Oh fuck. Oh my god. You know, if you told me a year ago that Beastman was going to run a promotion and what it would be like. I mean,
I would be excited.
I was
I'm not gonna
excited.
lie.
Listen, there are two people that have come to me and said, I'm going to start a promotion. And I said, I'm in whatever you need. And one was Beastman recently, and the other one was Marshall Gambino. And both of them, we have filmed the most ridiculous shit in professional wrestling.
You filmed the pasta death match.
I was getting to that. Yes, two of them, and a baguette on a pole match.
Vince Russo loves that idea.
There was a lead pipe in the baguette.
I now love that idea.
You don't mess with Mambo.
That's fair. Another one of my former charges.
It was just,
but that's tremendous.
Like, just in the hardcore Halloween thing we did and everything, it just completely bonkers. And now there's this, and there's that. Fans bring the weapon. I hear rumblings of other plans and Possum side, and I love it. I love it.
Pro wrestling.
It's pro wrestling.
And that's
listen.
That's all you need.
It is everything I love about West Virginia. Because I talk about Detroit. Listen, there's our Tennessee wrestling, right? And then there's our Detroit wrestling. This whole other vibe out here, right? And then and then fucking LA is a whole other fucking animal, right?
That's true.
And then West Virginia is its own fucking rabid animal, okay? And he's bringing like the best of that, and then the Pittsburgh stuff, and Ohio guys that I don't get to see very often. There's literally guys on the show that I haven't seen since we did the Dustin Batorf like 3rd annual event years ago, and I think they were up to 8 last I knew before COVID. So you like that's cool to see like all that coming together, right? Like I saw this guy, like I see him for 2 shows. I'm like, why the hell is this guy familiar? I'm like, oh shit, he was this other gimmick at the other thing. He's that guy, right? You know, like stuff like that is kind of coming around. So
and wrestling's weird too because you go forever without seeing somebody, and then like I saw James Avery for the I've seen him twice in 3 months, and before that,
and you saw him 3 times in that battle royal.
Well, that's true. That's a fair point. And before
that was fun.
Before that, it had been 15 years.
Was he? Is he the trainee at NOW out there?
Okay,
so thank you, because
I don't know what's that, but somewhere in Ohio.
Yeah, the one that Warhorse and them are from, right?
Yeah.
So because I met him because I was tagging along. Dabrowski was doing a seminar out there, and I'm like, this guy's familiar. Okay, I think some of these guys are the Ohio guys, you know, to fill out the battle royal or whatever, right? So like I was like, okay.
Yeah, supremely talented. And you see that through his students.
I mean, that's so. We've talked about recently. You know, the good trainers, and you've seen that come through. And you see when bad trainers and things come through. You know, and you can kind of tell where they come from depending on how your dealings with certain wrestlers, right?
That is
as
true.
they're coming, especially when they're younger. And that's really, really important. So, anyways, another thing that's really important is people's presence online. And we talked about we talk about this every once in a while, right? And it is I think WWE actually does social media training now. I understand it has been some at that level, right? Not that it always is clean, but you know, I think less issues happen than used to be.
Yeah.
You know, like the Hardys were notoriously bad. Matt was terrible for a long time.
There's a definite dark side.
Yes.
To pro wrestling Twitter.
Yes.
Present, past, and I'm sure future.
Yes, and I know something came up recently, you know, with stuff like that, and I know you had a couple thoughts on that you'd like to share.
Yeah. So I always preface this with why I am so passionate about this, and it is because in the mid 2000s, I don't like to give a lot of non-BC Steele stuff, but I had a marketing company, and this was the infancy days of Twitter. So it was pretty much me, the creators, and like 3 hamsters. That's pretty much not that, but it was very early on. YouTube marketing wasn't very popular. I don't even know if Instagram was around. I was teaching marketing on MySpace, so that tells you the end of MySpace, height of popularity. So I know what social media can be. And it's essentially your 24/7, 365 advertisement for your brand.
Yeah.
For pro wrestlers, you're the brand.
Yeah.
You're the brand, you're the product. There are ancillary products like T-shirts, etc., but you drive that car. You steer that ship. You insert metaphor here. What I hate is when I see people completely mismanage it. Either they're tweeting stuff to people that are supposed to be their peers, knocking, say, a WWE product. They are complaining about their personal lives. If my favorite actor is Matthew McConaughey, just for the sake of argument, if he tweeted, "Man, my so-and-so didn't call me back. My life sucks. I'm gonna feel bad because I'm a fan, but I'm also gonna be like, they're not as cool as I thought."
Yeah.
Like, there's supposed to be a mystique.
Yeah, they're not supposed to have the same problems I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's also the other side, and I'm going to quote Dave Chappelle, and I know some people feel certain ways, but he has a quote, "Twitter is not a real place." So it's kind of hard to care about it. And that's true for all social media. So when I see people, and I'm going to use this term nicely, when I see wrestlers that should know better act like marks that should just be buying tickets, it's upsetting. And I don't say mark in a negative connotation, because Mark is a wrestling fan. Everybody's a wrestling fan. If you're in the business, who is a bigger wrestling fan than somebody that pays thousands of dollars, puts their body through hell, buys gear, spends money? So I don't use Mark as a negative connotation in general. But when you're trying to harass people that are supposed to be your contemporaries and your peers at a higher level, that doesn't make you look very good.
Yeah. It's a professionalism. You wouldn't be doing that in an office.
Yeah.
This is your office.
Yeah. It would be very weird if, and to bring it down, like if I'm at Burger King and I'm bitching about what McDonald's put in their hamburgers, it's a little weird. And to make a point of, well, some people say, well, that's not a good analogy, but it fits because it's business, and that's another problem. And there's the other bad part of it where people promote stuff they hate. And this is a pet peeve because I admit I am not infallible. I have done this, and somebody told me once, you spent so much time talking about something you dislike that you put more of a focus on it because you're passionate and because than you could have done if you would have just ignored it.
Break that down a little bit because I don't know if people are grasping what you mean by that.
Okay, so I'll give an example. What I saw something in deathmatch wrestling. Not really a fan of it. I know Jim Cornette is very, very popular for doing this. He will rip it apart. He will tweet about it. He will
That's
say,
his brand.
Look at these guys, da-da-da-da-da-da. But if he truly doesn't like it, now if he's doing it just to garner attention, it's working because people always retweet and back and forth. But if you really, really dislike something, you're not going to promote it. Like, I don't like...
And there's a difference. I want a distinction. There's a difference between doing this publicly on Twitter versus complaining about X that you don't like that's happening to your contemporaries and fans, you know, in a closed circle.
Yeah,
right.
In like with friends and family or in the car, that's fine. That's one thing. But if I don't like Wendy's, am I going to really go into Wendy's? I'm not eating here. I hate you, and then leave. That's kind of weird, especially if you have a scope and a following. As I knock the mic out of the
Professional.
Damn it. But it's frustrating because the thing that I always put forward to clients when I had them was promote what you do because you can control what you do. You can control who you are. You can control your message, your image, whatever. You can't control the other guy. So why would you bother putting any time into it?
I swear that I just heard this from a TikTok from Gary V.
Oh man, no.
Yeah, not enough swears, but
and I was gonna say, well, what you gotta fucking do it. No. The one thing too is I don't know the scope of what they do, but people notice that stuff.
Yeah,
there are people that local people that don't get booked certain places because of how they are on social media.
Yeah.
So I guarantee that happens on a large scope.
Yeah.
What I will say is I know there have been social media seminars. And as I said when it happened, everybody in the locker room for where these had should be sitting and listening because they were from professional people that know social media.
And I can say that one person in one of those seminars is on AEW right now.
Yes. And ask the right questions. And you know what that person doesn't do? Doesn't complain about other wrestling, doesn't complain about WWE, doesn't complain about Impact or AEW or whatever. If you have those feelings, that's fine. I mean, wrestling's subjective. We'd all love if it was perfect in our own image. But to actually go on there and bitch and moan and complain, and even worse, to actually tag somebody who's in WWE, hey, bro, you suck. Like, I won't mention the guy's name because he was a young kid. It was a mistake, and I don't think it was intention. But he tweeted something at The Rock. The Rock saw it. The Rock commented. The Rock said, "You're a wrestler.
Yeah.
You should be smarter to the business."
Yeah.
Basically, that's the way of saying you're a complete fucking putz. Pardon my language. Now it's Gary V. Every time I hear that person's name, that's what I think of. And he's a nice guy. He's a good kid. Good kid. Everybody's a kid. I'm 100 years old. Get off my lawn. I know that's what this is sort of coming off as, but that's what I think of every single time. Good wrestler, in my opinion, but that's what I think of. There's other people locally that have tweeted stupid stuff, and that kills me too because that's all I can think of. And in the same vein, and it's a little bit different, is creating that mystique, how I mentioned earlier. If you're, and I know Joe Dombrowski's talked about this as well.
Oh, big time.
If you're the dangerous Dr. X, and you're this devious and you're a monster and you take souls or whatever, I don't care if you have a cat that you love. And I know that...
Unless you're Aleister Black, who was smart and created a separate Instagram for his cat.
See, and I know some of this is because people always say, well, The Undertaker was on social media, and that's a great point. And if you make millions of dollars You can do whatever the hell you want to do because the rules that you give of pro wrestling, you should do this, you should do that. If you're the Undertaker, it doesn't matter. You do what you want.
No, yeah.
If you're Steve Austin, you can listen to Rick Astley and drink wine. I think that's a video I've seen. So, like, if you're at that level, the rules of wrestling don't apply to you.
Right.
And yes, it's subjective and different things, but it's just common sense. The two best guys I can think of, and I know as soon as I say this, somebody's going to go, well, he didn't talk about so-and-so. Jackson Argos and R.C. Dupree. Another guy, Delirious. I mean, there's so many people that are just so good at that. Another guy that I'd seen his vignettes, and I don't know all of his social media, is Atticus Cogar.
Yes.
Is a guy who is just so
there's an
different.
air about him. And to the point where there's guys like an Atticus or people like him where I know their persona, I've known them personally, and I still pause in person because their persona is so bigger than the personality I know. You know, where, like, you know, I've always talked about Shane Taylor. He walks through that curtain, and I'm like, I know Shane Taylor.
Yeah.
And when he walks out of the curtain, it's like, you stay the fuck away from that Shane Taylor, right? Like, but like these people have created this around everything.
Yeah. And it's not the whole, well, you try to teach him that it's real. I'm not saying it's real. I'm saying that people, you can be real. You don't have to say, hey, I am not what I portray. And I mean that, and like I said, I'm not infallible. I know I have posted stuff that is against. It's a little bit different because managers don't have the same stuff. But like,
and there's a difference between like BC Steele and Ben is pretty, like, there's intertwining of that personality, right? Versus, you know, being a monster in a mask that works at Cogar's.
Or,
you know,
like, Bulk, if I knew, and he doesn't, and please nobody tell him I said this, but if Bulk Nasty loved gardening, he doesn't. I don't want to see him garden.
You heard it here first. I'm going to throw that over the wrestling.
I'm gonna get murdered soon. But,
put that in the press release.
But like, I don't want to see Bulk Nasty. Like, hey,
Potter, don't tag this clip.
Hey, these are my rhododendrons, or these are my mums, or look at these tulips.
Great. I mean, I'm not against a Bulk Nasty gardening show, though.
I mean, you can do anything as long as it's in. If it's Xander Gabriel gardening and Bulk just punches the soil, which, to be honest, like you mentioned the Shane Taylor thing.
Yeah.
When I managed Bulk Nasty, I legitimately was terrified because there's no, okay, it starts here and it stops here. The same thing with Shane Taylor. If Shane Taylor got in somebody's face, that person might get beat up. And a guy that I think is really good on a national level now, Eddie Kingston.
Oh, yeah.
I have never doubted a word he said. Sometimes it's, well, if a guy talks about his family, it humanizes him. Eddie Kingston talks about his family in a way that you feel his passion. Kevin Owens did it a little bit when he started. I know WWE doesn't really, they pull back the curtain more, but Kevin Owens talked about his family. He would fight for his family. He talked about it, but he did it in a way like, I'm doing it for them. But Eddie Kingston, I don't think I've ever doubted a single word he's ever said. And I will go back to, and I know this is another name drop, and it makes me sound like a douche, but I don't care. I had a 2-minute conversation with Roddy Piper once, and it changed the way I approached commentary and promos and everything. I said, when I was little, I would watch you. I would watch him. I would watch Arn Anderson. There were other few random people. And I said, I can't put into words how and why. And he said, because I never say anything I don't believe. He said, if I say it, I feel it.
And Arn's the same way.
And from that point on, every time I manage somebody, I have to find something that I believe in. If I'm doing commentary, I have to find something I believe in, even if it's like a little small thing. If I believe it, I can sell it, I can talk about it, and I can use that to formulate and progress your character or whoever you are. And I'm lucky because I do commentary with a lot of great talent. I work at Ryse for IWC, and I work at Ryse where I have a lot of great talent around me. I did Premiere, same scenario. It also helps working with Lendl and Joe Dombrowski and the talent that I've worked with. So that is definitely a huge help. But if I say something in a promo or I say something on commentary, for the most part, there's a chance that I believe it. I know I can be shticky and stuff like that, but it comes from a place of I believe in this person that I'm doing it with, and that all comes from my social media, and that all comes from just what I believe. There are people that I have said for years, and I won't say who it is, that I strongly dislike. I have said publicly, and there's one of two scenarios. Either I really, really dislike that person, and I am just professional enough not to let it bleed over, or I am a complete, absolute liar, and I want people to think that I hate that person.
Mm-hmm.
And that person's Andrew Palace. So it's one of those two scenarios. And him and I have talked about it. He knows which one it is. I know which one it is.
Mm-hmm.
And that came from an incident in the ring, and it spilled out from there. And I said my piece, and he said his piece, and that's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
So either I hate his guts, and we just butt heads, or I just want people to think I do. And I will say one thing. A lot of people say Andrew Palace is a nice guy. And a lot of people say I'm a piece of excrement. There I go. That I'm trying not to swear. So
we have a parental advisory at the beginning of the show.
Oh, well,
it's
then,
okay.
Well, then fuck it.
You've
I'm
done
a
this
piece of shit.
before.
I know.
You
But
know, you know this is a safe place to say fuck.
I was so positive putting everybody over.
Yes.
But yeah, it's one of those two things. To the point where somebody asked me once what my problem is. He's such a nice guy. And again, now somebody's going to be like, hey, I hate him too. And then somebody else is going to be like, I love him. You're a piece of shit. And, well, you know, I would, if I had the opportunity, I would stab my own mother in the back and have her arrested for carrying a weapon. I would do that. I just wanted to get somebody. I made that joke earlier, and somebody goes, "You can't fit that in on commentary." Well, I fit it in here, so there you go.
There you go.
Boom. Suck it. Now, you know what? I've been positive enough. So, okay. So here's all the people that I hate. And no, I'm kidding. Go ahead. I love everybody.
Well, thank you for that. Thank you for that short social media lesson.
Hopefully that wasn't so disjointed. And if anybody has questions, they
now
can
I don't
ask me.
have to book Katie and Missy for a seminar because you just answered everybody's
No,
question.
you absolutely should, because they gave me stuff that I use now that I'm like,
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Like my usernames matching as much as I can.
Okay.
So,
oh man, so many can still learn from that.
Yeah.
So, and it's so hard when you've already kind of established and like
Yeah.
something is not. Yeah.
And like, don't start with the.
Yeah.
If you put the, you're gonna.
I
get
was
a
so
million
mad
bucks.
when Lee had to go to the Lee Moriarty at one point. It was like, oh man, really?
Yeah, like the Undertaker, you're okay.
Yeah.
He,
yeah.
He gets.
Come on,
pass.
the Facebook.
Yeah. Like it's weird when somebody goes like, it was weird to me when somebody said the WCW. It was WCW.
Mhm.
That's just, it was just weird. But the WWF, okay, because they were the leader, they get that carte blanche.
Yeah.
When you're the top dog, you can do anything.
Just like the Wrestling Mayhem show.
That's
Guys, what did you learn from wrestling this week?
Oh man.
Ronnie,
you, yeah, after you.
I don't know if I should probably say what I wanted to say.
Listen to all the things BC just said. I think you're
I know.
clear.
BC is telling me, Ronnie, don't be a dick on social media, and I'm just like, well.
Oh no, you can be a dick if it's in the correct context and not spitting in the face of
people who want to be cool.
Nah, but see, that's the problem. With everybody wants to be cool on social media.
Oh wait, well here while we give Ronnie some, Matt out there, True Prince of Pro on Twitter just tweeted, listening to the Mayhem show right now, and I've got to say I absolutely love hearing BC Steele recount stories from Pittsburgh independent wrestling history.
Thank you.
Really enjoy hearing these fun stories that happened in the area, and he just tells it so freaking well.
Well, thank you.
The reviews are coming in, sir.
Let me just toss my non.
I can't say we normally get like review tweets in the middle of the show like that, though. That's pretty astonishing. But anyways, Ronnie.
What I learned in wrestling.
I don't know why I'm making him go first.
Yeah, I'm just gonna.
Because
Yeah.
I just ranted and raved. I have a short what I learned.
I'm just gonna go with don't be a dick.
Don't be a dick.
That's fair.
Mm-hmm.
I learned that in any context when Edge's music played, we will all be screaming the lyrics to it on our headset. I talked about last night at 247. Somebody came out to Edge's original Ultra Bridge song, and thankfully they had issues with his gloves and kept playing it. through several verses, and we were in for it. And so, by the way, props out to DJ Cake, who was amazing all night and definitely got us having a lot of fun. You know, it's pretty good when the commentary says, "I love this DJ."
That is very good.
This is the second show in a row where that's happened. So shout outs to DJ Cake, and shout out to DJ Omega Supreme that worked with us up in Grand Rapids.
I just like that name.
Yeah, I know, right?
I was gonna say, like, I don't know what they do, but
I'm like, he's like going off to do something, and I was like still there setting up, and I was like, hey, give me your card in case I need to get a hold of you if something comes up. And I looked at it, it's like fucking DJ, it's like Omega Supreme, like, and he's got looked the Transformer head on it, right? I'm like, oh fuck, this is good. This is perfect.
Unless he's like punching small animals, I'm a fan.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. He had drunk dudes walking up to us like, I'm glad somebody played some real fucking music. So, but no, they were fantastic. It was great. I can't say that's what I learned in wrestling this week, but no, I have so much fun edit shows.
That's a fair point.
I am like I get, because one thing I get, and this is a selfish thing for me. I realize, but even though I'm not able to attend Ryse, attend RWA, attend 2PW. Sorry, it's been 2 months since I had a show, so I forgot. But they're coming up here at the beginning of August. Everybody go. Friday Night Fights. But I get to, even though I'm obviously doing other things, we got great video crews, and I'm able to relive what's happening and not miss anything.
Yeah.
And see who's coming up, and see the Joe Murphys and the Cowpoke Pauls. Like, holy crap, Cowpoke Paul. Yeah. Like the cowbells in the audience, it's ridiculous. That guy doesn't get a title shot by the end of the year. I don't know what we're doing.
By the way, my charge beat him. That's not what I learned, but Colby Red defeated him.
Yeah, what's his name? Griff Garrison. What is that guy?
Griff Garrison. No, my charge, Colby Red.
Oh, Colby Red. That's right. That's
Colby Red.
I'm thinking that
Griff Garrison?
It was the guy. He was a new guy at Great Success.
Oh.
It's a GG something,
Gerard
isn't
Garrett.
it? Gerard Garrett. You see my confusion now.
See, hey, I got you. Don't
Who
worry.
the fuck is Gerard Garrett?
I
my
love
thing.
alliteration.
Oh, there.
By the way, what was?
I don't know. What is this? Oh, I was seeing what. Well, I knew they were doing weird stuff on Dark because they had the two. It's an hour and 49-minute Dark tonight.
Really?
I think they have a regular Dark episode, and then they just put those 2 extra matches from Rev Pro and the other promotion like on it.
Well, that's awesome.
It's like, I watch and that's what I watch while I edit is Dark. So I was like, well, that's fucking what I'm watching tonight.
Due to the message I received, not to cut off, but I want to throw this out there, of the mini thing I learned in wrestling this week, that you can control what people think, because I should clarify that due to the message I received, I will say that I do thoroughly enjoy Andrew Palace.
Okay.
It was a fan messaged me. If they want to chime in who they are, I'll let them. But Andrew Palace is probably the best person that people forget is as good as he is, because you always get the high level.
Yes, it's good to. I'm one thing I'm glad, because for whatever reason VCW I end up at, it's good to be working with them again, because it's been a while.
And when now I have to tell the story. When we were in the ring once, somebody had said to me after, it looked like you two were throwing live rounds.
Oh yeah.
In his defense, because I'm blind when I don't have both my contacts in, mine wasn't the best.
Yeah.
But he is so skilled that it went as should on his end, because he is supremely talented. So I said, okay, I'm going to run with it. Like, I'm going to just tell everybody I hate him, and we'll see where it goes. And there was a few people that bought into it, and somebody had messaged me and goes, well, they apparently bought into what I said. So it made its round somehow. So I love Andrew Palace. There's another person I can put over, but it goes to show you that if you sell something and believe it in enough, that,
there you go.
And I love everybody else. I meant all that stuff too.
Ronnie.
I already gave you mine.
Oh yeah, you did. And I kind of gave mine too, didn't I?
I also learned in wrestling, and I'm jealous of yours, I used to have hair. There are photos, I used to have hair, but it is rapidly disappearing.
Yeah, well, you ever heard, like, I from back in the day in high school, I was like, if it stays, I'm going to keep it long. I'm never going to color it. I'm going to be Kevin Nash Silver Fox. And unfortunately, that started happening at like 35, or actually it started happening at 30. But
I wish I would have kept my long hair.
Mm.
Nobody else does, but I do. Now, are you as cool as Kevin Nash?
Am I as cool as nobody's as cool as Kevin Nash?
That dude, him and Scott Hall are the coolest dudes in the room every time.
I don't have a little bit of cool, so I'm just. But also, like, I did 10 years of trying the short hair, and I just wasn't happy with any of it. Oh, look at that!
Cool.
Look at that.
There's a
coolest figure in the room right now.
There you go. There you go. I think, is that a WCW one or a TNA one?
That's a TNA one.
I wonder if that's the one that's in 2-pack that I got from Jim LaMotta. I told this on the show. It's in the background.
That's the red.
Yeah. It's the 2-pack of Kevin Nash and Eric Young, and I love that Jim LaMotta apparently appreciated my work with Ryse so much he would give me gifts every once in a while. And he wrote on the packaging, on the plastic on it, says, "Hey, remember when Kevin Nash was in TNA?" And that was a thing.
Kevin Nash and Alex Shelley is my guilty pleasure because I don't know if this would still upset people, but I'm sure it would have then. Kevin Nash gave personality to guys. Yeah. Alex Shelley had personality, in my opinion, beforehand, but he gave a different personality and stuff to guys.
And that's why I love that you see AEW and you see, the mascot managers, whether it be Arn Anderson out there or Sting coming out with Darby or, Jake coming out with Lance, Lance Archer. It was like you knew, or even seeing Paul White and Mark Henry come in, you knew that they're not just doing what's on television. They are there. Even Mark Henry said, it's like, we're here to tighten the screws a little bit. Yeah. Like, there's some great stuff happening, but there's some, like, loose stuff that shouldn't be happening on TV. Yeah. That would make this product just a little bit better.
I agree.
And that's it, for warts and all, I have been saying lately, AEW is the best of the what I love about independence. Right? It really is, what I love. I don't know if that tracks for everybody else, but but anything that tightens that down and still has that vibe, that's where it gets tricky, doesn't it?
Yeah, and one thing I will say with Mark Henry, I believe he found Jade Cargill.
Yeah,
I think. I'm not 100%.
I thought she was a Booker T. No, she was a Nightmare Factory because they trained her up and put her right on TV.
I know somebody. Maybe I'm just giving credit to Mark Henry, but he found somebody. Anyway, somebody found Jade Cargill.
Okay.
And actually, no. Maybe Mark Henry found Bobby Lashley because of the strong. I don't know. Mark, you know what? I'm making up my own facts here. Mark Henry found Jade Cargill. So
I'm checking her Wikipedia page.
Guys like that. Yeah. That have connections. Like he has connections, obviously, in the strongman competitions and would have connections in his years just in the pro wrestling business. Like that can be a huge unsung hero of AEW. And I think Jade Cargill is going to be money.
Oh my God! Yes.
I mean, she's money now, but once she gets her feet under,
she's great. Working with enough of the right people to make her look good.
Yeah.
Being put in positions to not like nobody's going to do a Bill Goldberg Steven Regal type match with her, right? And have that fall apart. Like she's being protected. Yeah. No, she's not a freaking 10-year vet, you know, but God, like you cannot beat what she can do for presence, and that is like that is also what they need as much as you want your indie guy to get over there. And actually, Cargill attended a tryout at Performance Center, according to Wikipedia. Subsequently, she began training at A.R. Fox's academy, taking advice from Mark Henry, who Cargill described as her mentor. She went to train with Heath Miller and Rich Boger's face-to-face wrestling school, then trained at the Nightmare Factory under QT and Dustin. Sanjay and Brian Danielson started coaching her when they arrived at AEW.
So we do not doubt me. I know everything.
I mean, if you're not sold on Jade's ability now, she's got the right people behind her.
And I mean, like, for everybody that wants to say, well, she's new, the wrestling business isn't fair.
No.
If you had the tools she had and somebody gave you the opportunity, are you going to say, no, I don't want that? No, you take it because she can make money.
And
so
AEW is not taking a blanket. And she's got a fitness background or something, right? She's a played basketball, et cetera, et cetera. she, it's not like AEW is taking this. Everybody needs to have a sports background stance and ousting the indies as options. But if AEW finds a Jade Cargill or big tall Indian guy that's hanging with Sanjay and Jay Lethal right now, like his name escapes me. That was a basketball first round draft pick. I mean, and he shows promise. I mean, it's a spectacle. It's like having Shaq in there in a tag team match.
And you'll get the little blurb like former first round. Like
you get that all counts.
And that's somebody that when you're like Jade Cargo is somebody that when you're clicking through the channels, somebody will stop just because she has a presence to her, and you'll be like, okay. Like, I'm going to watch and see where this goes.
And as if any of this would be a surprise, Cargo has credited late female wrestler Chyna and X-Men character Storm as her inspirations.
Which, I mean, Storm's a badass female character.
Yes, absolutely.
And when they turn Jade Cargill babyface, she'll be that much further ahead.
Oh, my God, yes. Oh, jeez.
Like, it's really hard. I mean, I know why I get why she's a heel, but it's really hard to debut as a heel because heels normally lead the match. So I mean, if you're in there, obviously that's not an issue. But when you're in the ring, so I mean, she's doing the harder stuff now because if you're a heel, it's then easier to get over as a babyface. So I think in like 2-3 years, it's going to be like, she's money. And
she already is. And even as AEW has that thing where I'm going to buy the T-shirt of the bad guy because they're badass.
Yeah,
right. And they're very good at that.
And I think she's with the perfect. I love that managers come back, but the fact that she's with Stokely Hathaway, who I absolutely love.
Oh, jeez, yes.
Give Stokely Hathaway a mic, and then just let him do stuff.
Yes, and Smart Mark Sterling is doing fantastic stuff with Nice right now too.
And I think he because he makes up for what Nice lacks.
Yeah.
The big thing is always, Nice looks great, like $1 million. He can wrestle, no problem. Like, he's good. He has great matches, but the promos don't come across. Well, he's got Smart Mark Sterling. So there you go. I'm so happy that managers are coming back. I'm not getting signed. That's not going to happen. But I'm like, just
listen. I'm just
going
to send this promo of Yusuf and Ronnie in the locker to some contacts with contracts, and we'll see what happens.
Look, TK and I go way back to AOL message boards.
AOL, what the fuck is this? Can you tell me about that on Patreon?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that. All right, we're gonna wrap up the show here. Thank you so much. Ronnie Starks on the Twitters.
Starks Wrestling on Twitter if you want.
His domains don't match either.
But he does have a new episode of Cribs coming out where he shows you the locker.
Holy shit, that's a good idea, Ben.
Welcome. BC Steele, yo girl.
Yes, on Facebook now.
On Facebook
as well. That is my name.
Finally,
on Facebook, as well.
Yes.
As the Twitter. The Twitter. On Instagram and TikTok, because I'm clearly not too old for TikTok. BC_Steele. So you can catch me on there, and you can catch me at local professional wrestling events.
There you go. the localist.
Yes,
the localist. Check your local listings.
If it's local, and you know what? Even though Sorg hates the town, I might even be in Monroeville.
I don't hate it. I was just scared by it when, like 20 years ago, when I was afraid to go through a tunnel.
Well, I dated a girl from Australia who hated the town name of Monroeville and hated Monroeville as a whole.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I could tell she's not going to see this, so I could just talk about her all the time. But yeah, she hated the town name. She said it should be pronounced Monroeville. I'm not going to do a bad accent, but yeah.
Huh.
So for that BC Steele trivia, if that ever comes up on Jeopardy, there you go.
All right, there it is. Thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys next week. Our guests are Paul Atlas and Steve Folcom, and we're going to talk about. Oh no, I almost ruined it. We're going to talk about coloring books like next week again. The Ryse and RWA ones that you can pick up over at falcomdigital.com. For those, thank you, everybody. We'll see you guys next time. Mayhem out.
Just wait, just wait, just wait, just wait. Wait for the perfect time, then attack. Don't give up what you want, take it back. Wait for the perfect time, then attack.
This show is a member of the Sorgatron Media Podcast Network. Find out more at sorgatronmedia.com.